morning, great rising to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode review of The Chi, Season 2, Episode 2, Everybody's Hustling. Everybody is hustling. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, hustling is just doing what you gotta do to take care of your family. And that could be working at McDonald's, working your 9 to 5, going to school, taking on odd jobs around the neighborhood, selling a little something, you know, on the side. But what I can't stand is po hustling. I can't stand po hustling when you gotta rob people and drug people and steal from them and stuff like that. I can't get behind that. I really can't. Everybody wants something for nothing. And that's just not the way it works. And at the end of the day, all of that negative energy you putting out into the world and all the harm that you causing to other people, it eventually comes back to you. In my opinion, it just ain't worth it. But I mean, I guess it paid the bills. So let's get into it. The episode opens up. The CPD is back at Miss Ethel's house. They're investigating a crime scene. We find out that Miss Ethel was really beat badly, and she has a collapsed lung and a broken rib. She has a whole lot of stuff going on, and she's in surgery now fighting for her life. Detective Cruz has an attitude because he feels that the other detective, Detective Toussaint, is, you know, overstepping her boundaries, but she's really not. So I don't know what that was all about. Next scene, we find Reg. I cannot stand Reg. I really can't. It's a Reg in every neighborhood. He's at Brandon's taco truck and he orders a taco, tastes it, you know he like it, but then he don't pay. Real ignorant, just ignorant. He feels that since, I think Brandon threw away his gun, y'all gonna have to catch me up to speed on that one because I don't remember, but he feels like Brandon owes him something so he can eat for free. Typical Negro stuff. So as soon as Reg goes back to his car with his little burrito, he gets in the car and he has a gun to his head. And you know, right there, you put out that bad energy and it came right back on you real fast. Life comes at you fast, for real. So we find out that Reg owes this guy named Duda $100,000. And he only has 48 hours to come up with it. So good luck with that, Reg. Emmett is now staying with his father, Darnell. He's sleeping on the couch and I don't know. He has to get used to life at his father's house. And as soon as he gets up that morning, Darnell is laying down the law. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it at all. He has some rules, some basic rules, real easy to abide by. And if Emmett doesn't follow them, he gonna have to get out. Ain't nothing wrong with that, especially with a person like Emmett. Emmett needs structure. I think he lacks self-control and he lacks self-accountability. So being under another man's roof and another man's roof and his way of being might actually be good for Emmett because he need help. He need help. He already has 3 baby mamas. He gonna end up with about 5, 6, 7. I also found out that Emmett is only working part-time. That's just that baby boy stuff. Like, you have 3 kids, no place to stay, no car, and you working part-time? What is you doing? Next, we find Ronnie. He's, you know, in his prison cell. He's still drinking the Pruno or whatever, and he has a moment. He's locked in there. He's not able to contact Miss Ethel to see if she's out of surgery. And there's not much to do in a cell but think about all your problems and get drunk. So he starts crying. He starts crying. I'm sure at this point, Ronnie realizes that his life is falling apart. And having to sit back and just watch yourself self-destruct, it's gotta be tough. It's gotta be tough. I feel for Ronnie. You know, he murdered Coogee. He murdered Coogee. And I'm sure at the time emotions were running high. He wanted to get some type of get back for his son being murdered, but look at the end result. You in prison, you can't be around your grandmother. Now you getting drunk again. It's just really sad. It's really sad. So next we find Kevin, Jake, and Papa. They in the little bodega or the corner store looking at snacks. Jake is trying to build a snack hustle, which I think that's great. You know, a little black entrepreneurship. My daughter actually used to do that in high school. She would go out and buy a whole bunch of snacks and sell it to the kids at school, which I really commend Jake because his brother is actually slinging dope. So we know the route that he could be taking, you know. So that's what's up. Next we have Detective Tucson and Jada. Detective Tucson is completing her investigation, and Jada was kind of a witness. She was the one that found Miss Ethel after she was beaten so badly, and she's explaining to the detective what possibly could have caused this invasion and beating. And she spoke about how the neighborhood used to be so great and how the neighbors will watch each other's kids and you could leave your door open. And now it has completely deteriorated. And just coming from an all-black neighborhood, when I was a child, I've seen so many neighborhoods like that just deteriorate. And it's like that everywhere. I don't know if it was the crack epidemic or because a lot of our men went to prison in the 80s, 90s. I can't put my finger on it, but it's just terrible how these neighborhoods are. You can't even walk down the street in some of these neighborhoods without fearing for your life, fear of getting robbed, fear of getting beat up. It's really sad. It's really sad. And I don't see things getting much better. No time soon anyway. So Ronnie meets up with his lawyer, and his lawyer is trying to take advantage of the system. Ronnie has taken a plea, but if he wants to try to get off, his lawyer suggests that they make Coogee, you know, look like less than a model child. It is what it is. Like, lawyers hustle, everybody hustles. However, Ronnie doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to use that approach to get off. But with a murder charge, there's not much more that you can do. So I don't know. I don't know what I would do. At the end of the day, the boy is dead, but it's just a bad look. But you already done murdered a child. Like, I don't think anything else can make you look any worse. So why not? So in the next scene, we find Brandon. He's talking to his mother's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. I don't know. But we find out that his childhood friend, Junie, passed away. I believe he was shot in the head at a block party or something like that. And the family doesn't have money for the funeral expenses. And I don't believe Junie owned a suit either. So they need donations. They need some money to help out. So the boyfriend asked Junie if they can put a little donation can at his taco truck. You know, that's what's up. This made me think about black people and how we just fail to plan and prepare. Most times, we're not expecting to die that young, unexpectedly like that, but especially as black people, we gotta have our stuff in order. You just never know when something might happen. You gotta add that insurance. And when you don't, it's just a burden on the family who's already grieving. Now they gotta scramble to get the money together to bury you. It's a hard time. So also, as far as the insurance, like, we gotta leave legacies. We gotta make sure our kids are straight so they don't grow up in poverty. I don't know. Black people, we just gotta do better. Next thing we find Emmett, he's in the corner store, you know, shooting his shit or whatever. And, you know, this pretty lady walks in, so he's sizing her up. He think he gonna get on with her. But Emmett ended up getting hustled. They sent in the right bait for Emmett because he walked right over to her and started chatting her up. And before he get more than a few words out his mouth, she serves him. He's being summoned for child support court. Hey, I ain't mad. I'm a firm believer in child support. Raising kids, it costs money. 2 incomes. Okay. So the next scene we find Brandon and Jerica, they're at a cookout type get together. And Jerica wants to make a good impression on this lady because she wants to sell condos. Her parents are pressuring her and Brandon to get married. I don't know how long they've been dating, but maybe it's time. I don't know. Brandon sees one of his old colleagues from culinary school, you know, serving the meal to the people at the party, and he wants to go over there and chat him up. And he tells him that he's short staff. So Brandon, you know, being a good friend, starts to help him out. He's helping serve. That's what's up. Jerica sees him serving and is mortified. She can't believe that he is acting like the help in front of her parents and the people that she wants to impress. That was so trash. That was so trash. You know, Jerica says that she supports Brandon and she's proud of Brandon for what he does, but then you don't want other people to see him doing what he does. I know he was a guest at the party. He wasn't a server or whatever, but it is his job. I don't know how I feel about that. Seems like it's gonna be further problems down the line with that whole situation. Emmett and Tiffany meet up for their child support hearing, and I think it was really a wake-up call for Emmett. Emmett had to explain his living situation and his work to the hearing officer, and every sentence started with, "I live with my mama. My mama drives me to work. My mama does this for me." And I'm like, damn, like, you are really a baby boy. You're not doing nothing on your own. It was no way you was ready to have 3 children. Sitting there listening to that, you can really understand Tiffany's frustration with Emmett. Like, you got a baby now, it's time to step up. But also, as women, we have to make better choices. She had no business getting pregnant by Emmett. And I understand we all make mistakes. Lord knows I've made my fair share. But after you make that one mistake, try not to make no more, because you end up stuck with a shiftless Negro like Emmett. Detective Toussaint returns to the investigation site, Miss Ethel's house, and she's just going through her stuff, looking for clues, facts, what have you, evidence. And she goes in her drawer and she finds this big wad of money. So Miss Ethel must have been hustling too. I'm curious. I want to know what Miss Ethel is into. It could just be savings, but I don't know. I don't know. The next scene we find Kevin and his mom. They're arguing. Detective Cruz is also at the house. He needs Kevin to actually testify because Ronnie wants to fight the case now. He doesn't want to take the plea deal anymore. And Kevin doesn't want to testify because he doesn't want to look like he's a snitch. I hate the whole no snitching mentality. I really do. Unless we committed a crime together, that's the only time I wouldn't snitch. And that's where my loyalty ends. If I see some woman getting beat up on the street, If I tell, I don't consider that snitching. However, the streets are so unsafe now, you just never know who's going to retaliate against you. And we all know the police aren't going to protect you. So you really put in a tough spot, especially as a child. You know, he's impressionable. I don't think he fully understands it. I mean, even as adults, I don't think people fully understand the whole snitching thing, but he needs to testify. So Jericho was able to convince Miss Brown to have a sit down with her and discuss selling her condos. And Jericho pointed out that, you know, she could get a stipend every month if she rented to low-income families, kind of like a Section 8 type of thing. Guaranteed money that can help out with repairs and additional costs. And Miss Brown made it very clear she wants to make money. She's not passing out welfare checks no more. That was fine in the beginning, but she's past that. And who can be mad at her? Everybody's hustling. She said she wants some families in there that got some money, and who can be mad at that? A lot of time these landlords don't want to be bothered with the low-income families. And I was on Section 8 before, and I know it can be a headache with all the inspections. It just is. And sometimes you might get some undesirable people in there, unfortunately. Sometimes these people really tear up the homes. People paying regular rent can tear up the homes too, but sometimes you're more inclined to take care of something when you dishing out your hard-earned money for it. So it is what it is. Next scene, we find Jake. He's back at home with Reggie, and as soon as he walks in the door, it's a trap house. It's just total chaos. Niggas yelling, counting money, drinking, smoking. I feel bad for him. Reg had the audacity to try to get on him about his schoolwork. How do you expect that child to study with all that chaos going on in the next room? I feel bad for any child, and I know a lot of them in those type of situations where it's just complete and utter chaos going on in the house, but then when they bring home bad grades, the parents got the nerve to be mad and punish them and beat on them and all that. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. However, Reg did give him a little bit of game. You know, he was selling his snacks for like $1 and some change. And he's like, no, you want to stick to solid dollar bills. You know, not only you going to keep a profit, but you won't have a headache of having the count change. So that's what's up. He gave his brother, you know, a couple gems there, but Reg need to do better. So Emmett and Darnell have their heart-to-heart. Emmett doesn't understand why Darnell was able to be such a good father and man to these other women, but he was basically trash with his mother. So he tells him that your mother got the boy, these women got the man. I understand that we all need time to grow and mature, grow into men, grow into women, learn, get our hard knocks and whatnot, but I still feel it's a cop-out. When you have a child, we know you have to nurture, provide for it, love it. Even animals know that. And I think we're much more progressive than animals. So if animals know that they have to do that for their offspring, surely we do. I think it's more so of a choice. Like you chose not to be there. It was a conscious decision. So, I mean, that was cute, but it wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough for me. However, I think Emmett can relate to what he's saying because Emmett is exhibiting those same baby boyish behaviors that his father has. So maybe that broke through to him. You never know. So we find out that Reg was not able to come up with the $100,000 to give Duda. him and his little team, they came up short. So, you know, they did some pole hustling. They went in and robbed this other trap house. And I guess you got to do what you got to do. I guess. I don't know if there was another way that they could have came up with the money, but I sure know that that was the easiest thing to do, was just to walk up to somebody else and take what they got. So there wasn't really too much left of this episode. Ronnie convinces Wzup to give him his lawyer's information because his lawyer is a miracle worker when it comes to murder cases. Kevin decides that he will snitch. He had a talk with Jake. And, you know, he was talking about gang life and what I mentioned earlier, like, you know, as far as the gang, it should be loyalty there. But when it comes to other things, it's no real loyalty. So he feels like it shouldn't be a problem for him to come out and tell the truth. And then finally, Emmett and Jada have a talk. He tells his mother where he's staying now. And his mother says, oh, see, you're not dead. You okay? Since you left the nest or whatever. But thank God he okay. It could have went a totally different way. But whatever. That was The Chi. Let me know what y'all think about this episode down in the comments. Subscribe if you like the content, and I will see you next time. Peace.